everyone. Welcome to Nerd Oasis. I am your host, Nerd Lounge Master 84. Welcome to the show. Got a great show and guest planned for you tonight. If you're catching us on replay, hit that like, hit that sub. I'm still trying to get to 500 subs, and I could use all the help I could get. So if you're out there listening to us right now, let us know in the chat. And I'm going to bring in my wonderful host that decided to join me this wonderful Monday. Oh, there's Cornercade. We know he's here. The bad guy. What's up, my friend?
What's going on? You could call me Peter Venkman tonight.
There you go. Meatball Saucy is in the house as well as Cornercade. So thank y'all for watching. I appreciate that. Hit that like for me. I greatly appreciate it. So I am excited to be second episode, and I'm glad to have you as a guest. Going to talk about something that I think both of us really love and enjoy. Gamer Fridge in the house as well. Good to see you, my friend. But we are going to talk about something that I quite enjoy, and that is Ghostbusters.
Me too, Todd. And any chance I get to throw on the old coveralls, I look forward to it. So yeah, that should go to show you that the Ghostbusters is one of my all-time favorite franchises. It's very near and dear to me.
Yep. I think a lot of people our age have a appreciation for it, but I think that it also spans multiple generations as well. I know my daughter enjoyed it. We went and watched one of the recent movies and whatnot. Yeah, that was the school, believe it or not. So anyway, but yeah, we enjoyed watching the movies when they came out recently, the newer ones, the Frozen Empire and Afterlife, and we'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute. But she enjoyed it, and she kind of found an interest in it. So, we lose your camera?
I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. My youngest son went as a Ghostbuster one year for Halloween. Yeah, that's a good memory too, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, I want to hear a good memory from you, sir. What's one of the first things you remember growing up from Ghostbusters? What was one of the things that like drawed you to the actual series?
I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind, and I probably my first ever experience with the Ghostbusters is the real Ghostbusters.
Yep.
I mean, how can you not mention that? You know, I don't know for certain, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say I probably saw the real Ghostbusters before I saw the movies. But I mean, yeah, if you were a kid in the mid to late 80s, and I mean, the real Ghostbusters was as big as it gets, you know, the toys and all the merchandising and everything else associated with it, you know. Yeah, it's got to be the real Ghostbusters for sure.
Yeah, and I'm in the same boat with you. I probably watched the real Ghostbusters before I actually watched the 1984 movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I have vivid memories of just watching the cartoon animated and just getting really excited, and then learning that there was a full movie and getting to watch that. And that was probably one of the ones that my mother wasn't excited about me watching.
Probably not, because looking back on it, it's not really. I mean, there's some questionable things in there for young children, anyways.
Yeah, the whole family dressed up as Ghostbusters for Halloween one year.
Yeah, we did it. Not this past year, maybe 2 years ago. I think we all did it. I got the wife to dress up like one of the lady Ghostbusters.
Ah, pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, Todd's dog. He's just upset because Mom is not home with dinner yet. So, good evening, little alien. Good to see you, my friend. Glad that you're hanging out with us. So, I wanted to bring this up real quick. This was recent. It always seems to be like a good association. Like they seem to like really work well together. But Pizza Hut and Ghostbusters. I remember a lot of collabs. I remember a lot of interaction in these guys. Now, this was an April Fool's joke, so
okay.
But I wanted to ask you: does this look appetizing to you? Does this look like something that you'd be all over?
No, I mean it does not look appetizing whatsoever. I'm assuming the sauce would be some sort of like a pesto, which probably would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that has like Slimer vibes all over it. I would have to close my eyes before I took a bite of it.
Yeah,
It,
yeah, French toast, if you
yeah.
had some high C with it, that would be
Yes.
awesome. They need to bring that
I
back, and
know,
I
I
heard
know.
rumors that they were, but,
So did I. Yeah, and you know what?
so
They better bring back the original packaging though. It's got to have that Slimer on the front of it. I think they brought
exactly.
it back. Didn't they partially bring it back maybe like a year or two ago for, or
Mhm.
maybe it was like 3 or 4 for Afterlife, but they didn't. They didn't put Slimer on it. I need that original packaging.
There you
That's
go.
where the nostalgia comes from.
Vader is in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. Not appetizing at all. No, I don't think
What
we're
do you
gonna
think,
order this
Todd? I
as
mean,
well.
yeah.
I was freaking out when this came out. Of course, April Fool's Day was a rough one this year because we had that fiasco with At Games sending the cease
Yeah.
and desist order for the standalone. And I was like freaking out about that. And then this came on, and I'm like, no way, they're not actually doing this.
So this was an April Fool's joke then.
Yes, it
Pizza
came
Hut
out
didn't really do
April
this.
Fool's Day, so it's got to be a joke. Yeah,
So I mean, was this Pizza Hut that did this? Do you
yes,
know?
yeah,
Oh,
it
it
was
was
pizza.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, because if you read the things, they have all the logos and all that. So
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
that's what I
no
saw.
thanks on the Slimer pizza. I agree. I agree.
I
The
mean, if it was
problem is
there,
the
I would have to
pepperonis
try
aren't
it.
cooked. Yeah, you can clearly
Oh,
see the
that's
pepperonis aren't
true.
cooked. So yeah, definitely fooled me. But I was kind of glad that it actually didn't, because I would have to try this if it
Yeah, me
actually
too.
had come out. So
I don't think anybody else in the family would eat it besides me.
yeah, probably not. That will make the pizza next time I get the flu. Oh man. Saying spirits. Oh, so let's get into this. And I wanted to talk about obviously the movies for sure. And obviously the first movie um, was the one that what's the word I want to use? Started. Oh, well, hold on. Before I do that, these were all the logos. I don't know if I was looking at logos for the actual you know, thumbnail, and I got this image here of all the logos that have
Okay.
been put out. Um, Obviously, the two, the regular one,
Yep, Ghostbusters 2.
animated one, the Frozen Empire one. I chose this one here. Do you remember what this one was for?
The one with the gears on it.
Excuse me.
I've seen it, but I don't recall exactly what it was from.
Anybody in the chat know? Let us know for saking of doing it. I think it was that series that came out in the 90s. If I
Oh,
remember
Extreme
correctly,
Ghostbusters.
Extreme Ghostbusters.
You might be right about that.
I think that was the logo for that, but I
I have
could
to.
be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
I
Uh,
think you. I would put money on that.
but yeah, Ghost of War. Yeah, that would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? But I wanted to share this as well as how many logos have been out there. You see them all the time. In certain places, it's just iconic logo that you
Oh
can't
yeah.
really. You know exactly what you're seeing whenever you see it. So.
Yep, it's recognizable, no, without question.
Yep. So obviously, the first movie, this was the actual poster, and you can see that it just shows Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, and obviously Sigourney Weaver's listed there with Hera Ramis and all that. So, what was the green? Not sure on that one too. I think it was a spinoff animated, if I'm not mistaken. But yet again, I could be wrong. So don't hold me to that, Vader. So I get like excited whenever I see this poster because it's just I was born in 84. I have passion for anything that was made in 84, and this movie came out in 1984.
That was, yeah, oh boy, that what right. I mean, that's the one that started it all. And the Ghostbuster, if it's on TV, it's an instant. If I'm just scrolling through the channels, it's an instant stop right there. Okay, I found what I was looking for. Even though
Yeah.
I've seen it a million times, it could recite the movie pretty much from start to finish.
Yep. Halloween tradition for me, for sure. I always watch the Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah.
So hold on one sec.
We have a visitor, or either that, or it's a ghost that's opening up the door. Todd queuing up the ghost. Don't make me get my proton pack. Hold on.
Oh man.
I think I forgot to put batteries in the PKE meter.
Oh man.
Yeah, no batteries in it.
So Stranger Things, season 2, they were dressed all as Ghostbusters. I remember that episode. That was pretty cool.
Yes, me
Me
too.
and Finn just watched it. I was 24 when that movie came out. It was a big
Oh
deal.
yeah.
Yeah, I've tried to catch it in theater whenever they do like an anniversary or whatnot, and I haven't unfortunately seen it in theater.
Me either. That's one of the things I would love to do. That's one of the movies I have to see in theaters eventually.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a question for you based on this movie.
Yes.
So did you know that there was an original script and an original outline for this movie that was the original one that was written by Dan Aykroyd had nothing to do with it was supposedly the Ghostbusters were going to be out in space.
Yeah.
Okay, so you knew that. And I think what John Belushi was supposed to be a big part of it or co-starring with him.
Yeah,
That was his
and
old
who
Blues Brother
replaced
buddy.
John Belushi? Was it Bill Murray? I think it was.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it was Bill Murray because obviously Belushi passed and they always said the Slimer was created to kind of pay homage to Belushi. I don't know how true that is or not, but
yeah, and you're glad that first script didn't really make it to the light of day.
yes, it
just
seems
because
like it would have been crazy.
we don't need space ghosts. We need ghosts here.
Right.
So
Right. I think it was more like, guys, I don't know if we're going to be able to get a budget for something like this. So they revised it and ended up in New York City and turned out to be an all-time classic.
Yep. And if I had to rate this movie, I'd love to know what your rating is on this, but I would probably give it 9 out of 10 stars. Just because
yeah, I mean, at least for
it's
me,
a classic.
Yep.
It has aged well, I think. Obviously, like I said, some of the scenes where they're smoking and just classic 80s
Right.
80s vibes. Just sitting there and I love it for what it is. It's an 80s movie and it'll always have a special place in my heart. But it just ranks up there really high on the movie scale. So what would you say your rating on this would be?
It would be, I might even go one step further and give it a 9.5.
9.5.
I don't know what I would rank. I mean, a 10 overall would, I don't know, maybe be like Empire Strikes Back or something, but this would be at least a 9.5. Yeah, like you said, it just, you get the 80s feel from it. It has like an iconic soundtrack in the movie, which I've bought on CD. I have it on a CD. The jokes hold up. A lot of them do. It's funny. There's iconic characters. I mean, just the what about the Twinkie? There's so many iconic quotable lines from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then they introduce Stay Puft, Marshmallow Man, and Slimer, all these iconic ghosts.
Yeah, and we see it all coalesce into a great film with a really good plot, and it just really flows really well. So, like I said, every year Halloween, even probably sometimes during the summer, because I think this came out in summer of '84. I try to watch it at least once or twice, if not 3 or 4 times a year. So obviously the original movie, have love for it as well. Now, Ghostbusters 2. Now, this came out in '89 in the summer again. And why, I don't know. Movies always come out at the wrong time. Like Hocus Pocus came out in the summer. Ghostbusters, I guess, came out obviously in the summer as well.
Yeah.
They just don't like putting these really good, like, ghost type movies towards the Halloween season.
Yeah, you would think they would, or even for this one, like right around the Christmas, New Year's time of year, because wasn't the movie basically, at least the climax of it takes place on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, where they're all in Times Square. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I don't know the logic behind it. That's obviously something I have to read up on as well.
Yeah, it must be just due to maybe that's just they get better sales in the summer.
Yeah, maybe that's
more people are around to do stuff.
What are they called? Blockbusters, where they want you to go where there's more people free to go watch movies. So what was your thoughts on Ghostbusters 2? I'll go ahead and let you go first.
Okay. I mean, I know that movie doesn't get quite as much love as the original, but not by me. I love it. Maybe not as equally as much as the other one. If I rated that a 9.5, I'd probably give this one like an 8.
Yeah.
8 or an 8.5. I mean, it to me is still it carries on what the original put in place, and it picks it right up and runs with it. I know the popularity of the real Ghostbusters cartoon kind of had a lot to do with the this movie,
Right.
and I think they kind of, from what I heard and what I've read, that is why Janine got like a remake makeover, I guess I should say, from this movie, and part of the reason why Ernie Hudson shaved his mustache, because his cartoon counterpart did not have a mustache.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, maybe not as iconic as the original, but I mean, I'm still a huge fan of the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
love
we got to
Ghostbusters too.
see, obviously we got introduced to Echo One in the first one, and then we got more visuals from this as well.
Yeah,
It was just a really um, great kind of sequel. I wish that it hadn't taken as long, but
yeah,
clearly, obviously there was stuff behind it that we know or could talk for hours and
oh
hours
yeah,
just about this movie alone. But I loved, the 89. You had a lot of movies go against this. We talk about Batman sometimes.
yeah,
We talk about some other great movies that came out right before the 90s, and this was one of them. And
right.
really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, the NS controller
Oh
controlled the
yeah,
Statue of Liberty. That was an
that's
awesome
right.
scene. I remember that very vividly as
Yep.
well. And every time that song comes on, I forget you probably know it on top of your head,
Yep.
the title of the song. But whenever that song comes on, I just sing it
Higher and
nonstop.
higher. That
Yeah,
one there, and the toaster starts dancing.
yeah. Ernie is still a tank and yes, he is.
Yes, he is. Yes,
He
he
is.
is.
He's an awesome guy.
He is aged far better than the rest of them.
1 and 2 were great, then pure crap after that. Well, we're gonna get to that in just a second, Stock Jock. So Bobby
Bobby
Brown, there you
Brown.
go, there you go. But if I had to rate this movie, I probably would give it probably an 8, just because it just didn't have the same power as the first one. But I really enjoyed this movie, and yet again, you watch Ghostbusters 1, you immediately put in Ghostbusters 2 after you have to
You
watch
kind of
them
have
together.
to.
And I enjoyed, the villain. The villain was
Yeah, Vigo.
Vigo,
Yeah.
Vigo, and creepy dude for
Oh yeah.
sure.
And I
Um,
didn't like looking at artwork after that. I
no,
always thought that
no,
they was looking at me. And his little assistant that he possesses, Janos. I mean, dude was hilarious.
he was hilarious,
Yeah,
and it was just, it mixed the good blend of comedy with the story of this thing happening. So I quite enjoyed too, and I think like I said, it's always something that I watch every year as well.
me too.
So, any other thoughts on this before I move on to the next one? I don't want to keep rushing, I guess.
No, no,
Not trying to rush too much here.
it
Just
holds
enjoying.
up. I mean, for all the people out there that say it's not nearly as good as the first one, I think, I don't know. I don't see that at all. I mean, you have the original cast back together again. They further progressed the story. I don't get how people can say that that's not good, because it's if you like Ghostbusters 1, you have to like Ghostbusters 2.
And Harold Ramis wasn't in a lot. He wasn't in a lot of movies. He was more behind the camera than
Right.
he was in movies. But him, in this movie, I don't know. We just got to see his range a little bit better. He was,
Yeah.
the first part of it. He was at the college, doing research and stuff. He was the only one out of the group that stuck with it. And it just really kind of just built on that. So 2 sucks, and it might. Oh, come
There's
on.
no way.
I have to
Never.
disagree with you on that, Gamer Fridge. I really do. So, yeah, I think it's a good film, and yet again, it should be definitely something that you watch, especially if you watch one. You need to dedicate the 4 hours and watch
Yep.
both of them together. So, moving on to the next film, which I'm going to get a lot of slack for, is Ghostbusters 2016. Now, I'm going to try a big stir here on this one, because I know people give me a hard time for this one. So, what are your immediate thoughts when I say Ghostbusters 2016?
My immediate thoughts is why.
Yeah.
I can honestly say, and I will admit this now, that I have never seen this movie in its entirety.
You're kidding me.
I have not. I
Wow.
didn't like the concept from the start. I didn't think it was going to be good. And that just shows how deeply rooted my love for the first two movies are.
Okay.
Is I couldn't, and you know, the fact that they're women has nothing to do with it. It just wasn't, to me, the Ghostbusters are Peter, Egon, Ray, Winston. Like I couldn't handle any other people other than those being the Ghostbusters. So honestly, I had no interest in it.
Wow. Okay. Total trash. Wow.
They're
I refuse to
yeah.
watch that trash. Okay. All right. The bad guy is also the smart guy.
I
Okay.
said it's nothing to do with the fact that they're women or anything like that. It's just that that's yeah. I'm so deeply rooted with the Ghostbusters that if it wasn't the original four, I wanted no part of it.
Okay, I have to admit that I've watched this movie multiple times. It is usually the one that I watch yet again in order of when I'm watching the other two, especially around Halloween. It is a funny movie. I know that it's not like our good friend Meatball Saucy says. This is not canon Ghostbusters. Recon it out of existence. I agree. It's not canon Ghostbusters. We don't have to show that it's existing, but I enjoyed it, and it wasn't because of I don't know. It wasn't because of the ladies. They were comical. They were good together. It was a good, solid cast. They just, it didn't stick to the core story, and that's why a lot of people are turned off by it.
That's kind of what it was. And I'm like very much a purist, and I didn't like that they had different proton packs. I didn't like that the Ecto One looked different. I didn't like that they had different uniforms. You know, again, it's just me loving the original that much that seeing anything different didn't seem right.
Yeah, the guys, I talked to Gamer Fridge and GI Joel and all that daily, and I was in a Goodwill, and I found a sealed copy of this Ghostbusters Answer the Call, and it was like 50 cents. And I'm a I'm a physical media guy. I love collecting physical media, and I bought it. 50 cents.
They're practically
It's
free.
it's gonna sit on the shelf sealed
Sure.
for the generations prior to me being gone. Uh, and yet again, I'm sure that it's just crap. But yet again, I just couldn't say no to 50 cents to
So you
have.
never owned it in a physical form
No,
for
I
that.
did own it. It was
Oh.
just a sealed copy, and I'm
Oh,
like,
okay. So this
I
one
might
you're
as well
keeping
pick it
sealed.
up. Yeah, keep it sealed. Can I get $100 for this in 25 years?
Maybe because it may end up being one of those cult classic things where
Yeah,
it has its own hardcore dedicated group of fans and
yeah. I don't know.
like
I
other
enjoyed it.
movies.
I didn't like Chris Hemsworth in this. He was too dumb, and
Yeah,
you're looking like, why is Thor being dumb? The actor that you see as Thor,
right.
uh,
That's a
you
total
know,
180 role reversal
yeah,
there.
he's just a complete ditz. And obviously they only liked him because he was handsome. So I just thought that was the plot was kind of weird. I thought the graphics were good. I don't know if you saw some of the ghost scenes; they were pretty
I
good.
have.
So and then there's the whole dance scene thing that was stupid.
Yeah,
Uh,
when they all being possessed.
Being possessed, yeah. It seems like you've seen more of this movie than you openly
I
admit.
mean, it's hard to avoid it.
Yeah,
And I've watched others review it and things like I've watched the Rowan the Destroyer fight scene.
yeah. I agree, Meatball Saucy. Obviously, Afterlife and Frozen Empire really kind of. They said I paid too much for 50
50
cents. I
cents
got
too
ripped
much.
off. Yeah. Uh, I will pay you $100 to burn it live on stream right now. Wow. $100. Burn
Let's
it
do it.
up.
It's gasoline and a match.
Massively. Stock Jock says there'll be 5 cents in 20 years. Yeah, probably so. Probably so. But you say what you like. I have to rate this, and they're gonna give me hell for this. I'm gonna rate it a 6 out of 10. So it's not my favorite Ghostbusters movie. I know that they joke that it is, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as a movie, and that's what the whole point of going to a movie is,
Then
enjoying it and watching it.
if
So
you enjoy it, then that fair enough,
it was
right?
made for non-existent modern audience. Yeah, I concur with that, saying spirits. It was made for modern people that have no idea what Ghostbusters really is all about. So
And right, it probably did. There was probably people that enjoyed it because they probably had never seen the original movies or never grew up watching the real Ghostbusters cartoon show. I mean, I could see a new generation of people being interested in this. It just, again, me, I guess I can't really rate it because I've never actually seen the full thing. But yeah,
that's
it
a
was just
fair.
the
I wouldn't expect you to rate it because it's one that yet again it's just not loved.
I
So
also think that I was so annoyed at that time that we had never gotten a Ghostbusters 3 with the
yeah,
original cast. And I'm like, and we're finally getting a Ghostbusters movie after all these years.
yeah,
And this is it. Like, it's not. And I think at this point, did Harold Ramis already pass when this movie
yeah.
was
Harris Ramis was already passed. They had a
with
statue of
the
him
others had
in the
cameos,
college.
right?
Yeah, Dan Aykroyd was a cab driver, and they were like, "Take me downtown." Oh, I don't go downtown. Oh, there's ghosts. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. And then he drives off, and it's like, And then I think Bill was the
Is he a
ghost
doctor or
expert. Yeah,
something?
the
Okay.
critic that didn't believe in ghosts, and then you had Ernie was Lindsay Jones's uncle that she got the Hearst from
Okay.
that they did. So yeah, it was kind of some nice cameos in there, but obviously not in the universe. So
Right.
I bet the new At One buyers love this movie too. I'm sure they did, just because it was colorful, right? That dance number was at the end was horrible. Yeah, I agree. The making everybody dance in unison and all that was just weird. So all right, enough with Ghostbusters
Move on. Yeah.
2016. We will say goodbye to it, and let's hope we don't get a sequel. So here's the next one in the lineup, which I have to say I was probably the most excited to see.
I'm still here.
the the new story. The new story. Yeah, Rick refused to be in that other one, so he refused a lot for sure. But that's a whole different topic in itself. But I was really excited when Ghostbusters Afterlife was announced that they were going to build. They were going to go and continue this, and I was just super excited. I probably posted a million posts about it, and was there as soon as I could get in the theaters to watch it. So I'm assuming that you went to theaters to watch this or not?
Yes. Oh yeah, I was there the day that it released. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
out.
you
I was
had
in
to be.
theaters.
You had
Yep.
to be for it. Um, so obviously, both you and I know this story, and I'm sure most of our people, Meatball Saucy including, knows the story about how this was a continuation. So, how do you think that they handled the Harold Ramis conversion? How do you
I
think that?
mean, about as good as you could.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, with doing the whole CGI thing at the very end. I mean,
Hmm.
honestly, I know some people were upset by that, but I would have probably been more upset if they didn't put him into the movie somehow. Like the very opening scene of the movie, and it's him running through the field. They don't really show his face, but you obviously know that it's him. I mean, they had to address the fact that he wasn't going to be in it, and that's about as good as way you can do it.
Yeah.
To I guess quote unquote kill him off, but to have him come back in ghost form at the very end,
Yeah.
it was like icing on the cake almost. I mean, it wouldn't have been right, and then to have him standing right there with Ernie Hudson and Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray all in a line, that was a great thing to see because because you knew that was probably going to be the last and only time you would ever see that again.
Yeah. I thought Afterlife was better than Frozen Empire. Yeah, I agree with you there. Haven't seen it yet. I'm assuming you haven't seen either Afterlife or Frozen Empire. Let us know. So Yeah, I was really excited about this, bringing young faces into the universe and the whole daughter angle and how, he was the one out of the whole group that had to leave
Yeah.
and go to this little town in Oklahoma just to prevent and out of all the four, you could see him doing that. You could see
Yes.
that this character was the one that would do it
Yep.
versus everybody else. So um, I thought it was really great. Yeah, I need to see both. Well, you definitely need to take the time and do it, my friend. You're missing some good entertainment for sure. So I watched it live. I took my daughter to this, and tried to catch her up because she hadn't watched the first two movies, and it was easy to kind of relate and tell her how the story continued and all that. So, did you take your son to this one?
No, he would have been probably a little too young
Okay.
to sit through the theaters. We have a hard enough time getting him to sit through Super Mario Brothers and stuff
Yeah,
like that. But
yeah. This maybe had not had piqued his interest. So
it definitely, this one was definitely more kid friendly, I guess, than the originals. There wasn't innuendos or language really that I can remember, anyways.
yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Mm-mm.
So, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed seeing the Echo One again, even in its broken state.
But I feel like that's how it should be, right? Like it was in that barn for 20 plus years, right? 30 years. And
Yeah,
the trailers gave me, there was some serious hype, because when you would see it, you heard the noise in the
yeah,
trailer. All you saw was that barn, and you heard that noise, and you knew it was. It was somebody trying to start a proton pack.
yeah.
Like the unrecognizable noise of that thing starting up, and it would give me goosebumps hearing it. And I got super excited that this was going to come out. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was definitely a good movie. Not as good as the original two, but it was they took it in a good direction. And to see that Ivan Reitman had a lot
Mhm.
to do with this movie, and his son, it was in the right hands, so you knew it was going to be good.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they did that. I'm glad they worked really hard on the script. This wasn't rushed. It
Mm-mm.
was done properly, and we got to see what we wanted to see
Yep.
for sure. I would say probably rating this movie, I would probably give it a 9 out of 10. I enjoy it. Um, Yet again, out of all
You
the
rank it
movies,
ahead of Ghostbusters too.
yes, yes. The graphics were fantastic. I know they're modern graphics, and we got to see what that scene where the ghost, the miner, was in the coffee shop, and they were
Oh yeah.
pouring coffee to him. That was great. Just
The
getting to
uh
see,
the terror dog, it was in Walmart or something like that.
yeah,
And
running
that
around
terror
Walmart,
dog,
and it
that
was
was
crazy because it's like, what Walmart this is a Walmart in Oklahoma with nobody in it. It
that
just
doesn't make,
fit,
yeah.
you know.
Well, and plus too, they weren't the little marshmallow minis cooking each other on the grill. Like
Yeah,
what
they were.
grill in any Walmart on earth would have gas hooked up to it?
Yeah,
But
yeah, you
still,
have to.
it made for good,
Yeah.
funny moments of the marshmallows cooking and eating each other.
Oh, come on now. The third movie was supposed to have Chris Farley in it. I did not know that. Did you?
The
The third
the
one that they were going to come up.
rumored third movie
The rumored third movie.
from like the 90s.
Yeah,
No, I did not know that.
yeah. The game is considered the third movie. Okay.
No, I don't know. I think that has been, as they say, retconned, but at one point it was. I don't
Yeah.
think that's considered canon anymore, which is sad, because if you played that game, Todd,
I probably
Ghostbusters, the
cruised it
video
for sure.
game,
Yeah, probably cruised it for sure. Yeah.
go back and play it. If you're a big Ghostbusters fan, go back and play it. It's incredible.
Yeah. The bug-eyed ghost cameo made little me happy. Trying to knock my sister's teeth out with the original toy
Oh
popping
yeah,
that
yeah,
eye.
yeah. I bought I
Cool.
have the re-release of that. Yeah, the eye would pop out.
So yeah, really good movie, worth every penny. And the only thing that I have to say negative about this movie, I know why Paul Rudd is in it, but I don't understand how he's really needed. You know what I mean?
I 100% agree with you. Again, I know Paul Rudd, big star, name recognition,
Yep.
this and that. Like you do need an adult to kind of help handle the reins, because I don't know going forward how much Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd are really going to have in it. But Yeah, if you would have removed his character from the movie, I don't think it would have changed much.
I agree with you. I get that he's the teacher, he's the fatherly figure. He's coming in and replacing whoever the kid's original father is.
Yeah,
But it just kind of didn't fit for me.
it seemed a
Um,
little forced.
it seemed a little forced, and he's the now I know him as Ant-Man. We all associate him
Yeah,
with Ant-Man, and he's just a little too much comical in this one for me. And I know that's kind of his core
it
anyway,
is.
but
Yeah,
um, he's just the kind of comic relief that I guess Rick kind of provided in 1 and 2.
yeah, I guess so. That's a good
So,
comparison.
real
Although I would
Zen,
have
good to
loved to
see
have
you, buddy.
seen Rick Moranis in this,
Yeah,
and
even
and I hope,
just a 5-second cameo would have been
yeah,
great.
I hope they can get
Just
him
to
in
see
there.
him, Brooklyn Menace in the house. Good to see you as well, sir. Yeah, I like I said, love this movie yet again. One that I try really hard. I do a holiday Halloween marathon every year, and Ghostbusters.
This is part of it.
All of them are in it. They're in the lineup. I watch them religiously every Halloween season, especially in October for sure. Just because it's Ghostbusters, it relates.
Yep. Yeah,
So
I liked it. I can't rate it ahead of Ghostbusters 2. I mean, I'd probably give it I'd probably give it a 7.
that's fair.
It's definitely my third favorite in the franchise.
For sure. And I thought the plot was really, really well done. His
And it made
son,
sense.
it made sense. It followed. They did the work. They did the homework, and they set it up really, really beautifully. So,
Yep.
and then it was surprising to me that hey, they're in Oklahoma, and this is a rural community, and it just kind of sets it away from all those big old city scenes that we were used to
Yeah.
in 1 and 2. So, was really interesting as well. So, all right, any final thoughts before I move up on this one?
It's a good movie. It's worthy as number 3, especially being that it was what again 30 years later, 30 or so years later.
I
Yeah,
thought the
it's
daughter, whoever the actress is for the daughter, I forget her name, did really well.
yeah,
She really added,
yeah. I
uh,
can't think of
you know,
her name either.
added a
But
motherly figure that we
right,
really didn't see in 1 and 2. And it was really nice to have somebody in it. So,
yep,
all right, last but surely not least, in the movie side of it is Frozen Empire. Now, um, I really, really, yeah, cheaper to film. Yeah, exactly. Once they knew that they were getting the success, we got Frozen Empire, and man, I have to tell you, I was extremely excited about this one. Getting to see more aspects of it, getting to see them in the city doing their job,
hmm,
was pretty cool. So, thoughts and feelings on this one?
yeah, I liked it too. I didn't think it was as good as Afterlife, and maybe it's because Afterlife kind of hit me in the feels a little bit, with the whole Egon thing and the tribute to Harold Ramis. But it seemed like if they were heading in a direction, this was a very appropriate next step to take. I mean, now that they're established, and you have what they had, the like the research laboratory and things like that you would imagine that they probably would have in this day and age, and they're developing new technology, and
Hmm.
then you
Trying to
still
figure
have
out what's going on. Yeah,
yes, you still
yeah,
have the originals popping in. Of course, Winston is the head, the CEO of everything, and then you have Ray as the kind of the brains and the
yep,
heart of the whole thing. And
for
yeah,
sure.
I liked it. I mean, again, it wasn't. I don't think it was as good as Afterlife, and it was cool to see Slimer again. Although, speaking of like characters that I'm not sure their point, what was it, Finn Wolfhard? He kind of really didn't serve a purpose in this movie.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe going forward, I guess he kind of will, but it
yeah.
just seemed like he was kind of there, and they really didn't know what to do with him. So they're like, "Oh, we'll bring Slimer into the movie, and you could try to capture him."
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand. It was a good plot. Here's another evil ghost that's trying to take over the world, and their bit is ice and freezing, and it really fit. Um, but at the same time, there was just a lot of characters in there that I'm like, why are they here? Why are
Yeah,
they?
there is. Yeah, they had a lot of
And
focal
then
point characters.
this as well, the ghost romance was kind of clingy. You
That's
know,
true. I forgot about that.
the final bad seemed low budget, just a lot of movie. Yeah, I agree as well. I agree with that. But why she was interested in relating with a ghost, I don't understand that. I guess her grandfather was communicating with her when they were in Oklahoma, and that just kind of just related to her. But I don't understand why we had to bring that into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, there are probably many other ways they could have accomplished that. Because what the ghost was trying to what was she trying to do?
She was trying to get her to become a ghost, and then her take over. Um,
Because
what
yeah,
was it?
because didn't they
To
need
release
that?
all the ghosts that were in the
Yeah, to be able to
lab.
release the ghost. That's right.
Yeah, let her guard down and let all the ghosts out. So it was kind of a story I just didn't understand. I didn't hate it, but at the same time, I just don't
Right.
understand why it needed to be in there. I guess here we are, 2025, and we have to have a teenage romance between two.
I guess
You
yes, they're
know,
trying to. I don't want to say pander, but
and
they're
I
trying
also
to
don't want to
include
say woke
everybody,
because I
and
don't think it was really
I
woke.
don't either. I
I
didn't
think
know.
we have. I think we added this just to make it edgy for the teens to watch it. Maybe I don't know.
Yes, yeah, and that's what they're doing. They can't just rely on our generation or the older people. They got to try to include the younger generation too. So I'm assuming
Yeah,
that's part of what they were trying to do.
yeah. But I went to the premiere of this. I got the bucket. I got the cups. This was a big event for us, and getting to take my daughter to check this out was awesome. So, ranking wise, I would give it an 8 out of 10. I know Stock Jock thinks I'm going to rate it the best. I have to put the original one ahead of this one. But it was good to see the interaction with them in the old firehouse
Yeah,
again, and all the stuff that came with it.
yeah, it was great to see the firehouse back in functioning as it used to, and yeah, kind of seeing them back in New York City, back in business like they used to be back in the day,
Yeah,
catching ghosts, emptying them into the containment unit, and
yeah. And I'm glad they explained the backstory too about how that containment unit was faulty and they had to
right.
make it better, and then it was still not 100% functioning properly. And I thought the plot was decent aside from the side romance. So
Yeah,
what would you
yeah.
rate this movie, Mike?
Whatever, I gave Afterlife a 7, so I'll give this one a 6.5.
All right, so probably one of the least ones out of the series just because of some of the
Yeah,
stuff they
I
put
don't
in
want
there.
to say it sounds bad when I say they've gotten progressively worse, but that doesn't mean to me that I think it's a bad movie. I just again, I just hold the original two in such high regard that
Yeah,
it's
same here.
almost gonna be impossible to touch those for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. The originals just have a lot more heart and soul. 80s movies just hit you differently.
They do, right? Yeah,
They
they do.
really do. So, uh, now, before I move on with anything else, do you think we're going to get another one?
I would say so. I would say they would be crazy not to, just because the two that they've recently made have been successful, and
Yep.
they seem to be having their own fan base, and they're kind of doing their own thing. And I don't see why they wouldn't make a
Yeah,
third
I
one.
agree. The
They
series
kind of
is
set the
doing
table
well,
for it. Yeah,
and they're making money for it. I just thought about this. I bought the poster. They had Regal had a special limited edition poster for this movie, and I got that as well
nice.
using some points that I had in the Regal app. So, um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that comes out. We kind of got a revival of the toys, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. But this kind of really sparked something for a lot of people that weren't dedicated fans to begin with.
Yeah,
The Afterlife and Frozen Empire kind of brought in the newer generation for now.
and there's enough callbacks to the originals that it'll keep the old faithful fans from the '80s interested in it too.
You need a tour of all my stuff. Yeah, one day I'm gonna do a game room tour once I get everything out and displayed and all that, I will definitely do that and put it out because I'm a nerd for some of these collectible type stuff that may not really be collectible or worth a damn, but here we are.
Yep.
So, final thoughts of Frozen Empire?
I liked it. Yeah,
I'd like to see them continue.
Right. That's just, I'm
I
hoping
think,
that this is still them. They're just gonna the stepping stone into the next one.
and what's the girl's name? Mackenzie, I think, is the actor's name. I think she did really well, and hopefully
McKenna Grace.
McKenna Grace.
Yeah.
My apologies.
No.
We need to bring her back. Bring her back and let her.
I mean, she's obviously she has to be the main. She seems like the main character to me.
Yeah.
She's the Egon type where it probably wouldn't work without her being there.
Exactly. So I'm sure that we'll, unfortunately, hopefully, we won't lose any of the other main actors from the originals, and we can still get a few cameos
right
before they depart on us, because that would be sad days for sure. So, all right, moving on to what you and I was our favorite cartoon, The Real Ghostbusters. So, do you remember why they had the different outfits versus the movie? Do you remember?
I remember the episode, if you're talking about that specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
talk about that.
It was the episode, and I can't remember. I don't know if it was Citizen Ghost, maybe was the name of the episode, but it was a direct follow-up to the original movie.
Yeah.
Where they all had came back to the firehouse after the battle with Gozer and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And according to the story, there was, they were covered in marshmallow still, which was full of evil ectoplasm. And I think Peter was supposed to get rid of the uniform, supposed to burn them because, of all the evil mojo on them. But so because of that, they had to get new uniforms. So they kind of explained it. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Referencing why, because
that was one of my favorite episodes because it pretty much says right there that the Real Ghostbusters is in the same exact continuity as the movies.
Yeah. June was definitely more attractive in the animated series. For
she was
sure.
a looker.
And how they kind of adopted Slimer as kind of like their mascot or their pet was kind of interesting as well. But, as a kid watching this and saying, okay, this is what has established Ghostbusters, and then going and watching the movie, it didn't correlate. It didn't correlate. Why are they all in the same uniforms? And
right.
why are they, why is he dark? Why is the hair colors different?
And, right. And Egon looks the hair is all totally weird. And
yeah. But I loved The Real Ghostbusters. It really was a awesome anime or animated cartoon. I don't know if you want to go deep as saying it was an anime, but I really loved it. My childhood memories of all of the shows, I probably could recite most of them. The sad thing is trying to find these. I don't know. I looked to see the other night if I could find, like Roku have the channel or something. It looks like these are only available for purchase. You can only watch the seasons if you purchase them.
Yeah, I think
versus
that's
getting to watch them on. Maybe I'll find the DVD set or something.
Surprising. That's what I ended up doing. I have the DVD set because same thing. Like I couldn't find them anywhere. I'm like, how could you not? How are these not available this day and age? Especially with the Ghostbusters movies now coming back out.
Yeah.
You would think these would be everywhere. Yeah, and that's the thing, Gamer Fridge, that the first few seasons, the first 2-3 seasons are among the greatest cartoons of all time. Later on, they got a little silly with things, and Slimer started taking over, and
but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the cartoon. It was, how many seasons did it run? 3 or 4? Or was
it might be more than that. I want to say maybe even 6 or 7. But the last few seasons are so unmemorable. Well, they first off, they replaced the voice of Peter, who was the guy Lorenzo Music, who did Garfield the cat.
Yeah,
he got replaced with Dave Coulier, who was Uncle Joey on Full House, and it just he did an okay job, but he just wasn't the same.
Yeah,
there's a couple things I did too. I learned about this because I've watched a lot of behind the scenes. Apparently, Ernie Hudson auditioned for the role of Winston and lost and didn't get it. Didn't get it, and they gave it to Arsenio Hall. But how crazy is that the The
For
actual real life Winston couldn't get the part.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try to get these on DVD or something because just recently I've just been reviving the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or whatnot as well. Um, so yeah, it's one of those things. I did want to bring this up from earlier, Meatball Saucy, but you know why the cartoon and toys were the real Ghostbusters?
Yeah. Do you know? I'm assuming
No,
you know that.
explain it to me to confirm I understand
Okay.
it
So it
properly.
was due to copyright reasons. So I guess when the first movie was made, there was already it was either a TV series or another movie called Ghostbusters. A
Yeah,
real live action. It had like a gorilla in it or something like that.
yeah,
And Columbia, when they were able to get the name for Ghostbusters, but then once the TV series came out and the toy line started, they didn't want to share that name anymore. So I don't know if it was Deke Entertainment or whoever I think did the real Ghostbusters, but so Filmation, Hanna-Barbera ended up making a cartoon series based on their original Ghostbusters with the gorilla and everything. So they couldn't get the name the Ghostbusters, so that's how they called themselves the real Ghostbusters.
yeah. I remember that now because it was a different series that was almost like a Scooby Doo kind of
Yeah,
rip off kind of
kind
thing where
of.
they were
Yep.
hunting ghosts and
Yep.
they called them the Ghostbusters, but they really weren't related to the franchise like these were.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's why they named themselves the real Ghostbusters, because obviously that's the franchise that was popular. That's the ones that everybody wanted to watch. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say the two shows debuted either on the same day
yeah, it
or
was very
one
similar.
right after the other.
Yeah,
But I've went back and I've watched that other Ghostbusters series, and because I don't really know anything about it, and it's interesting as a Ghostbusters fan to watch it because you hear the kind of some of the stuff they're saying, and
yeah,
you're saying to yourself like, no, that's not right, that's not right. Because to me, it's cemented in my brain that the Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters, is
yeah.
that's the real franchise of the two.
There you go. Stock Jock was 26 when these came out. He was sleeping off a hangover then. So the Ghostbusters cartoon was based in 1975
Yeah.
live action television show The Ghostbusters.
Okay, so
Okay,
it was a TV show, not a
TV
movie.
show
I
as
couldn't
well live.
remember.
You
But
are
yeah,
correct. They were too close at the same time in 1980s.
yeah, I'll have to look at that. I want to say it was like within days or weeks or something.
Yeah. And I was what, probably a toddler at this time when this came out. So, this was probably on cartoons and I was drawn to it because it probably came either before or after Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
And I was watching this in reruns for sure. So,
But yeah, it was definitely this show that got me into the Ghostbusters
there
franchise.
was one in the early 90s. What was it? The Extreme Ghostbusters.
Yeah, the
That
Extreme
was okay.
Ghostbusters.
It was like 1 or 2 seasons.
Yeah,
It
I
was
did. At
okay.
that point, I think I was kind of, I would have been going on. I want to say it was like maybe 95 that came out. So
Yeah.
I'd have been like, at that point, probably thinking I was too cool for that kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
I kind of regret it. I wish I would have watched it because I did hear it was pretty good.
Now, I remember going, being Halloween one year and going as a Ghostbuster. I know a lot of people have talked about that as well. Do you remember going as a kid as a Ghostbuster?
I absolutely did. My mom made me a homemade Egon costume.
Yeah.
It was like a blue jumpsuit, and I had the old Ghostbusters proton pack, the toy, and the ghost trap, and all that stuff. I had all that. Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know what year it was. Probably 88, 89, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And I
definitely went as a Ghostbuster.
yeah, I don't remember what year it was either, but I remember going as one year and it was just awesome just to get out there and be dressed up like that
Yep.
and have that people automatically knew who you were in that jumpsuit no matter
Oh
what you
yeah.
were. I'm not a fan of the ghosts, not the
More of a fan
Ghostbusters.
of the ghosts.
Okay. All
Hey,
right.
the cartoon series did have some incredible ghosts, though.
It did.
The boogeyman, like the Sam Hain with the pumpkin head. Yeah, that was they had some pretty crazy ghosts.
Yeah. And I don't know if I did the video game next, but here is the actual some of the toys and these. Correct me if I'm wrong. These got re-released really soon.
They did
Recently.
Yep.
So just awesome. Awesome for someone like us that collects these type things. This is awesome to see these
So
again.
yeah, I had
Back
all
in the
these as
store.
kids, and I went back and bought them all as an adult.
Yeah, yeah, and trying to keep them in the original package without opening them up. So
That's difficult to do, but I told myself I'm not going to open them up. I have them all on a shelf, and
yeah,
they
but
look
look at
almost as good as they did back in the day.
I
There's
mean,
little
look at those
minor
colors.
differences, but
Yeah, look at those colors.
I know
Vibrant colors. They just don't make toys like that
they
anymore.
do not. Nope.
For sure. But I'm sure I had the Ecto one in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
I'm sure if I was to dig through all my photos, I probably could find it. Because
which they
always
re-released that one too.
Oh man, and parking it right next to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle van,
The van.
and it was awesome to have all those.
Yes,
And
it
we've
was.
seen, I don't remember. Do you remember the Walmart commercial that recently came out? Maybe not recently, within the last 4 or 5 years, where they had the Ecto, and then they had all of our favorite cars come in. They had,
Oh yes, I do. Yes, I
yeah,
do.
it was just
The
awesome to
Ecto
see
One
all
was
that
part of that.
nostalgia in a commercial. So
Yeah, because didn't they have like the back to the DeLorean and Kit from Knight Rider and stuff like that? If
yeah,
is that the
yeah,
one you're
they
talking
had
about?
Bumblebee.
Yeah, that's right. There was a Transformer too.
They had a DeLorean. They had it all. They had it
Yep.
all, man. So
I am gonna
might
fund
think,
Dylan's.
yeah, you're gonna on your unopened toy collection. Yeah. So real quick, any other thoughts on the toy side of it? I'm glad to see that these are like coming back out.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Um,
I big fan of them. I like I said, I had them all as a kid, and I've before they even made these, I was considering buying them again, like the originals.
yeah,
But I mean, I'm not willing to spend $200-300 per.
yeah,
So when these came out, I jumped on them. I was like, oh my god, this is exactly what I couldn't have asked for anything more. So I bought every one of them, and I
yeah,
have the original 4 up on my shelf right beside me, and yeah, they look awesome sitting up on display.
yeah. So, real quick, the video game side of it. This is just the only image that I pulled up. There's tons of Ghostbusters games. I have the original Ghostbusters on the Sega Master System. Was one of the first cartridges that I got when I got the Master System in the early to late '80s, early '90s. Um, and that game was fun. That one was the one where you
Yeah,
drove
that's
around
one
the
of the good
car
ones. Yep.
and had fun with that one as well. This is obviously the video game remastered. I think this came out on was it PlayStation 4 and some of the other ones that are out
Yeah.
there. So, um, Todd, I would super chat $20 when you get monetized so you can go for another hour and a half. Okay. Well, I'm gonna hold you to that, stock jock. If I ever get there, my friend, I will hold you there. But yeah, there's so many great Ghostbuster games, but this one was just the one that popped in my mind. There's earlier ones. Yeah, PS3. Thank you, Gamer
Yeah,
Pro.
that's right. Yeah.
I
And now
appreciate you.
like the NES games and stuff like that are no, not that good, but
Yeah,
this one here is one of my favorite video games in general of all time.
yeah.
I
And you've
think they
done
did it so well.
yeah, and you've done a couple of videos. Check out the bad guys videos on the Ghostbusters. You did comparisons of what NES
Yeah, I
and
did. I
Sega
just
and
yep, I did the Ghostbusters game that we never saw that they only released in Europe for the
yeah,
NES.
yep,
I did just do a playthrough of the Genesis version. I haven't uploaded it yet, but this one here I am going to touch on one of these days because I love this game so much that as I think it was Gamer Fridge said that it was considered the third movie. I think this game is so good that I would rank it ahead of Ghostbusters 2. That's how good I think it is.
yeah. There was more cartoon version on the Wii. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
So tons of games out there for Ghostbusters. I'm sure that there's
Jason.
the Commodore 64 version of Ghostbusters.
Some of those older games, Ghostbusters games, were so bad,
and they didn't age very well either.
No, they didn't. But this one did, and you had all the original voice cast actors back.
Yep, for sure.
And I did want to ask you one thing about Ghostbusters. So,
sure.
Obviously, you're aware of the Data East 3-player arcade game.
Yes.
So apparently, there were rumors going around that Numbskull or Quarter Arcades was going to be releasing one of these things.
Okay.
And from what I'm hearing, and I don't know if anybody in the chat knows anything about this, but apparently it was supposed to come out this year, and I'm hearing that it got delayed, which would be something that I would. And I own one of those Quarter Arcades. I bought the Ninja Turtle one.
Yeah.
So I was like, foaming at the mouth when I heard that they were releasing the Ghostbusters arcade game. Not that that game is like anything fantastic, but I mean, just that it's Ghostbusters,
Absolutely.
So yeah, I was curious if you had heard that they were going to release one, and if they did, would that be something you would consider?
Absolutely. And I know the chat's going to say I buy everything, but the Ghostbusters, if I saw that, I was trying to think. I think we saw that in. I think I saw one of those at Galloping Ghost when we went to Chicago.
No,
And
you did.
yeah, I didn't take any pictures of it. I think I just walked around and looked at it. But I'm hoping that will release it. Gamer Fresh says Ghostbusters, RoboCop, and Bad Dudes. Yeah,
there you go.
I want all three. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I was excited to hear that they were thinking about coming out with it. It's such a great IP that it would make sense that they would, and the time is right for it as well. So,
yes, it is. Yep.
Renders are out, I believe.
Yeah, I think I've seen pictures of it. So I'm guessing it's eventually going to happen. It's just, I guess it's a matter of.
It may not be licensing. It may just be kind of odds and ends stuff. So yeah. Just put my grip to putter 3. Okay. Oh, just got my grip for putter 3. Okay. Awesome. They're talking about VR and
VR golf.
Yeah, VR golf. I don't think there's a Ghostbusters VR game, is there?
You know what? There is.
There is one. Okay.
Oh, what is it called? I can't remember what it's called. I downloaded it and I've played it, and it's okay. It's it's like a big online based game. I think you can play single player, but I think the whole objective is more or less for you and other people to form a team and go out and capture ghosts. And I kind of got turned off by it a little bit because there was nothing but little kids on there. That's it. Rise of the Ghost Lord.
Okay, there you go. Need to check that out. I'm sure it's available.
But it is pretty fun to pull your proton pack off your shoulder and blast a ghost and throw your trap out. And it is pretty cool.
There is a VR game on the PSVR OG. Okay.
I wonder if it's the same one.
Might be the same one. So check that out as well. And real quick, I wanted to ask you, were you a big comics fan of the Ghostbusters? I know there was a line of Ghostbuster comics, and I don't know if you were a big fan or not.
So back at, I guess, at the time of the initial release, I was not, because I don't think I knew they existed. But in recent years, I've come across them, and I bought the entire Real Ghostbuster comic collection.
Ooh.
in book form. It came in an omnibus, not individual. But I do have the whole series.
Yeah. And I mean, there's just so many different. There's international. Back in town, it looks like they ventured into the new series as well.
Oh yeah, they did. And they kind of. So all right, maybe I don't know if I mentioned it, but it was the Real Ghostbuster cartoon or the comic that I bought.
Yeah, the Real Ghostbusters as well. And those are going very high on eBay and whatnot as well.
For the comics, the individual comics,
most of them are graded. Most of them are graded, but there's a few out there as well.
Yeah, you could buy them in the complete set in one book.
And I never, to be honest, I've always gone and looked at them, but I've never actually bought any. So that's one of the things that's in my collection that I really wish that I need to add is some Ghostbuster comics to the collection. The artwork looks very good from what I've seen and whatnot, so I really need to add that to my to-do list for sure.
And there's a couple comics which I had bought, and I think one of them it's called Ghostbusters Crossover, where all the different versions of the Ghostbusters get sucked into like a portal and all interact with each. So you have the movie version of the Ghostbusters meeting the real Ghostbuster cartoon characters, meeting the female Ghostbusters. They're all together and they all have to work together to try to get back at it, to back to their normal universes. It's actually a really cool crossover.
Yep.
So if you're a fan of all the movies, which obviously you are, it would be it'd be hard to put down once you start reading it.
I'm sure I need to check that out for sure. That's
Yeah,
something I need to
I think
know.
it's called Ghostbusters crossover.
And then last thing I wanted to talk about real quick was the fan groups themselves. There are so many groups out there. They're usually city based, and you could join them. And man, they do parades. They go to conventions. It's just a big big thing. Have you ever looked into joining one of those, or have you thought about it? I've looked at joining, those type things, or like even just like the stormtrooper brigades and all that. And it's a lot of time, a lot of energy, but as a fan, it would be something I'm sure I would enjoy.
I've thought about it because I've been to conventions around here, and there's chapters or whatever they
Yeah,
call them,
yeah,
and I've thought about it because I mean, obviously, I have the jumpsuit, I have all the gear, I could fully dress up like a Ghostbuster, but like you said, just what type of commitment would I be getting myself into? Because obviously, with the young kid and all that, it would probably be difficult to dedicate time to it, but
yeah,
maybe one day, I won't rule that out.
yeah, yeah. I think it's something that's and they do a lot of cool stuff. They do charity events.
Yeah,
They do, they're really involved, really passionate people about the Ghostbuster community and the IP itself. They really just get very involved, and I think that's good. So
yes, me
might be
too.
something I'll do one day. Maybe when I retire, I'll be an old
That's
guy
what I
out
was
there.
thinking. Maybe when I get a little older and the kid doesn't want to have anything to do with his lame old dad anymore, you know.
Yeah, you
Give
can
me
go out
again.
and
Give me a
dress up
reason
like a
to,
Ghostbuster
yeah.
and
Give
go
me a
do
reason
that.
to dress up
So,
like my Ghostbusters gear. Turn my truck into an Ecto
excuse
One.
me. Well, I appreciate you taking time to talk to me about Ghostbusters. It's obviously a childhood favorite of yours, and you were the perfect guy to just sit down
Yeah, it
and
was a
just
lot of fun.
go over it and talk about it. A lot of interest out there in it, and hopefully, I don't know. I'm looking forward to more. Looking forward to more movies and more stuff coming out in the future, and being hopeful that we continue the great reign that we've had.
Me too. Yeah,
It's not like Marvel where you just get a Marvel movie every year. It's when one of these come out, it's got to be good for you to go watch it. And so far, they've done really well with the last two. So
yeah.
let's keep our fingers crossed that
And
they continue that for sure.
hearing rumors that Netflix may be bringing some sort of an animated series back. So, and
And
I don't
that's
know
good.
what
They need to.
that means. If that's going to be its own separate thing, or if they're going to bring the real Ghostbusters back like they did with X-Men, or if they're going to have based on the movies. I have no idea, but apparently Netflix is working on a new Ghostbusters cartoon.
I thought they did justice with He-Man because didn't Netflix do He-Man?
Yeah, I think
They did
so.
justice with that.
Yep.
So I think we could really get some good entertainment out of it. Well, and
Right.
maybe get some newer generations into
Yeah.
Ghostbusters because I don't want the IP to die. Hopefully, in the
No, me
next
either. I
20 or
was
30
afraid that
years,
it.
we'll see
Yeah,
it. So
I was afraid that it did after Ghostbusters 2, and they weren't making a third. Thought
yeah,
that was it, but
yeah.
yeah, it's great
What
to
did
have
they
all this
say that
coming back.
they didn't think people would be interested in four old guys in jumpsuits going around trying to capture ghosts? But here we are,
Shows how much they know, right?
40 plus years. Here we are with
Yep.
Ghostbusters. Busted makes me feel good. There you go.
Always saying.
There you go. So, any final thoughts before I send these nice people home?
Just no, want to thank you for having me on. I mean, God, we could go on all night
I know it
for
could be a
there's so
3 hour
much.
show.
Yeah, we
I
really
hate
could.
to
Like this is
I hate to cut it short, but
I
maybe
know,
we'll
but
revisit it.
yep, we
Maybe if a new movie comes out, I can get you to come on and we can
I would
talk
love
about the
that. Yeah.
new movie.
This
Or
was right up my alley. I mean, this is right up there for me with Star Wars and Ninja Turtles and Back to the Future. I mean, Ghostbusters is right there. So
yep,
if I know one thing, I do know a lot about the Ghostbusters. So
there
thank
you
you
go.
for having me on. I really had a lot of fun.
No, thank you for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Appreciate everybody that joined us in the chat. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that like. Please hit that sub for me. I'm still at 350 subs. So, and Cinco de Mayo is coming soon. I really want to give away that Quest 3 if I hit 500 subs.
Come
So
on, let the man give it away.
I want to
Right?
give it away. So anybody shares. Todd likes going on movie dates. Yeah, yeah, we were talking about Joe Cade. We were talking about Superman, and he's very excited about that. So thank you,
Me
Meatball
too.
Saucy. We appreciate you popping in. But yeah, I'm looking forward to these movies. 2025 is going to be a good year for movies, so hopefully that'll continue the trend for sure. So,
Yep, hope so.
So we appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good rest of your night, and I will see y'all in 2 weeks as Garage Gamer literally walks in, and then we're walking out. So,
Hi, bye.
yeah, appreciate you coming in. Have a great night, and we will see y'all 2 weeks. Appreciate you.
Good night, guys.